Hello, hello, hello. Let's do an old-fashioned coffee time with actual coffee. Again, in the old days, ping. In the old days, I used to come on here and just talk about the topic of the day. Do you remember? Do you remember we used to do that? Well, I'm doing that now. Instead of going through the news, I tried that. Nobody liked that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and pander to all the right-wing nut jobs out there, because that's where the traffic is. Because we'll play the Google algorithm at its own game, and so we'll tackle a topic, and we'll put on our right-wing make United Kingdom great again hat, and see where we go with this. This is, again, my kids are kind of out of the coming through the other side of the school system at the moment because they're a bit older. My daughter's doing her GCSEs at the moment, and I guess my son will be heading towards that way in 2 years' time. But it's been announced the Department of Education is revising its guidance on what they call RSHE, that's relationship, sex and health education. Before now, younger kids could have these lessons, and they had them when my kids were in junior school. I think it was their last year, so that would have been year 6, and they would have been, was it, oh god, how old would they have been? 10? Again, I get all the years mixed up. And they'd have had some basic sex education advice here, but the new draft ruling here is that schools will be told not to teach sex education to children under 9. And a lot of this has also come from the whole gender woo-woo thing that's happening. The genderbread man. Who remembers the genderbread man? I think, yeah, the kids may have been through some of that. Anyway, yeah, the government have said no. We're not having this anymore. And of course, there's been a bit of all the kids peeing. Sorry, it's telling me that my shopping is going to be delivered tomorrow, which is the right thing. It reminds me. Where was I? Oh yeah, back to the thing about sex education. If you've got kids, many of us have, then you'll know that their childhood it's sacred. It's a sacred thing. You don't want them growing up too fast. And what you've seen in schools is a lot of this gender ideology that's been pushed in. That's the idea that we're all have our own special gender identity. Again, it comes out of identity politics and how you identify yourself. Remember, you don't identify yourself. Other people identify you with eyeballs and hearing and that kind of thing. I'm not a big believer in any of this stuff. It's just far too complicated because it's for people that want to appear more interesting than they actually are. People can't just live their lives now. They have to wave a flag. They have to have a flag to wave. It's good, isn't it? In our day, we had macho role models like Boy George and Marilyn. Yeah, back in the 80s. Our cross-dressers were men, and we knew that they were men, and that was fine. But yeah, where am I going with this? I don't know. I haven't really thought it out. I just saw the topic and thought I'd run with it. But yeah, so some of the people, the naysayers, the sayers that say nay, are saying this is the new Clause 28. It's not really. It's not really, because if you throw your minds back to the 80s, when we had Boy George and Marilyn and all manner of pop stars, those real tough macho pop stars like Mark Almond and Jimmy Somerville, storming the charts, sleeping with loads of women. Do you remember that? Maybe I'm remembering it all wrong. But of course, they had cross-dressing in the 70s too, David Bowie and everything, and glam. but they were men, real men. That's the point. But yeah, the naysayers are saying this is terrible. It's like Clause 28, but it isn't, because Clause 28 was about banning any discussion of homosexuality in schools at all, and it was a blanket ban. And again, there was a lot of brouhaha at the time. Again, it didn't affect me because we talked about it. I remember in our sex education classes, which were hosted by a 6'4" Scottish Jesuit priest with dog collar and all. That's how I learnt sex. No, not like that. No, it wasn't like that. He didn't. No. But he wore the thing. He wore the. Yeah, he was an imposing fellow. He was. But that's how I learnt the birds and the bees. But we did discuss homosexuality in that class, and yeah, there was a bit of sniggering, but that was it. But I can't remember if that was before Clause 28 or whatnot. I think it might have been just before it. But anyway, they're trying to compare this to that. Now, the thing is, it's not like that. All they're saying is the government are saying we advise that you don't do sex education before the age of 9 years old. And again, for a lot of young children, the introduction to that kind of thing can be quite traumatic. Even if you dress it up as something flowery and we're dealing with ideas that young minds, I don't think, are necessarily always receptive to. It's on an individual basis. And again, a lot of parents prefer to talk about that stuff at home rather than the school. And that comes without the people that are going into schools who aren't professionals. Any old bugger can literally rock up, and I've got a story to tell about this. Rock up at schools and say, we'll do your talk for you. We'll do it for free. And they'll turn up. Here's an example from experience. They was doing a talk about drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And there was a letter sent home about this, because they have to do that. And you can actually withdraw your kids from any of these things. You do get an advisory and you can tick a box and say no. And with this one, I read who was giving the talk. This was for my daughter. This is when she was in junior school. And it was Narconon. Narconon were doing the talk about drugs and alcohol and all sorts of stuff like that. Now, for those of you who aren't in know, Narconon are an arm of the Scientologists. There you go. And the Scientologists are a cult set up by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, because back in the 50s, him and a pal were discussing how to make money, and they came to the conclusion the best way to make money wasn't writing sci-fi, it was starting your own religion. And so L. Ron Hubbard did, and he did very well out of it. But yes, so Narconon is one of the arms of the cult of Scientology, and they have some very dubious practices, and there have been a number of cases where people who have gone to them for treatment have not survived it because they believe in vitamins, because I've got to get this right because it's so mind-bogglingly ludicrous. Vitamins and saunas to cure you of your addictions. And yeah, it's not a good way, especially if you are a real hardcore alcoholic. You cannot withdraw from alcohol immediately because you're likely to actually die. You can have a heart attack, organ failure. You have to wean yourself off it. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm going down a different road of discussion now. So I said, oh no. I wrote a very strong letter back to them saying, oh no. And I don't know if you are aware of this. This is, what I've just said about Scientology. And I advise them that they should do their due diligence a bit better, So Verity was pulled. I don't know if they ever used them again, because I don't remember Herb having one of those talks. But secondary school, they're doing a talk. Who rocks up? But knocking on again. But this time there was no letter sent home. There was no way of pulling. And was very quite vocal about they're Scientologists, you know, they're Scientologists. And but this is it. We don't know who's going into the schools and actually talking to our children. And again, this is fine if you don't have kids. If you don't have kids, people say, "Oh, what's wrong with all this? Oh, what's wrong? Oh, are you a bigot because you don't want these topics discussed?" Well, not only do you have people wanting to actually, you know, have an influence, their own influence on their children's lives, because we are their parents, for fuck's sake. It's just a simple, you made me swear then. It's a simple idea that they're my kids, I want to teach them. Then there's the people that have various religions and cultural backgrounds that might not necessarily want that kind of information, you know, given to their children. This is the whole point of this is the real, like, of the whole inclusivity, exclusivity debate. You can't be inclusive without accepting that some cultures and some people don't necessarily like what you're going to say and might not want to be a part of it. That's all part of inclusivity, because, and they've never really had that discussion, the inclusive lot say, because they never say, well, you know, those insert religion here. There are certain religions, you know, the ones that have beards and, you know, like to go, sometimes they go boom, don't they, for no reason. That religion, they certainly don't like all this gender woo-woo rainbow stuff. But they never pick on them. No. They always pick on the Christians, because the Christians are peace and love and understanding. So you're never going to get anyone going boom, are you? So it's all right. It's all right, you know. But this is where all this ideological stuff falls down, because they don't like to talk about the religious lot, really. Some, but not all of them. But yeah, so they're presenting this as it being the new Clause 28. Now, what they're saying is, just from 9 years old, fair go. You can talk about this stuff, but also to be very careful about some of the ideologies that are being, you know, introduced. Again, sex education should be kept to its basic, you know, the basic stuff, really, without telling them, hey, you can be any sex you want. But no, you can't. You can't change sex. That's just a nonsense. You can cosmetically try and alter your appearance, but again, in this era of body positivity, this again bumps heads. Surely no one's born wrong, as the last, you know, Doctor Who, you know, Space Baby said. No one's born wrong. But if you are, you can get it all chopped off or tucked in. That's the contradiction in all this. Whereas we should be teaching people to, you know, accept themselves for who they are, even if they feel not necessarily comfortable with themselves all the time. This is what I have issues with this ideology, because it always is contradictory to itself. You know, it also allows all manner of boundaries to be broken down. You know, if you want to talk about sex to children, you should probably check your hard drive. You know, sexualising children is just, again, I can't even imagine it back from when I was a kid in the 70s, 80s, this being a thing, because they would have rounded them up. They would have rounded them up and locked them away. But here we are. It's the caring, sharing, inclusive 2020s that we're in, where everyone has lost their bonkers. You know, they're all mad. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Keir Starmer and the Labour Party do if and when they get into power. Again, we're still waiting for Dishy Rishi to call an election. It's I don't know. Who knows if he's ever going to do it? But will Starmer kind of bend to these ideologues? Because everyone's an ideologue now. This is what you've got. Everyone's an ideologue, whether it's along social, political, or sexual lines. This is why you see it in Doctor Who and all the media and every aspect of your life now. Even, you know, being treated. If you go to the NHS, there'll be somebody with a rainbow lanyard. You don't need. What? Why are we doing that? You know, just make me better. You know, I don't care what you think or where you put your genitals. I just want you to make me well. But yeah, this is the world we're living in now, where everyone's an ideologue, and it's quite bizarre. And again, a lot of this is fueled by social media. It's fueled by a lack of personal culture. Again, everyone's turned introspective. Everyone's turned inward rather than looking outward into the world. And this is one of the pillars of that, because if you get them young, you can meddle with their minds. That's what I think. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know if you've realised this, that your taste and your sexuality and whatever else, like the colour of your eyes, is hardwired. You ain't going to change. And the great thing about all of this is my daughter tells me lots of interesting stories. She's fascinated by this the same way I am. We talk about this a lot. And when she was in junior school, there was no talk of, gender woo-woo stuff or, the flags or whatever. That school was pretty much, your run-of-the-mill junior school. But when she went to secondary school, all her friends were kind of, well, again, obsessing with all this stuff. And it was like, wow. And she said, well, this one, again, somebody she'd known all of her school life. Dad, she's a lesbian now. I went, really? How old is she? Oh, she's like 11. I went, oh, right, okay. And this one's such and such, and that one's bi, and that one's pan, and that one's asexual. And so we were learning together, and this is what switched me on to all this gender woo-woo stuff. And see, the kids collect genders and flags like we used to collect marbles or stickers for our sticker books. That's what they've got now, and it's all fueled by the mobile phone. And I said to V, don't you worry, I said, this will change once they start getting interest in boys, or girls. That will become concrete. And it's happened. Again, we was talking about it the other day, just because we said, oh, this one's going with that one, and that she tells me. And I said, I thought they were gender wounds. She went, oh no, that's all out the window now. Now they like boys. It's like, yeah, as I said, that's how it goes. It all gets forgotten. And this is what these clowns forget, is you can push this so far, but who you are is, it's not a performance. It's not performative. Though they want us all to perform a role, to be a stereotype. This is what you are. You must perform this. If you do this, then you must be that. And it's very strange. I thought we were moving away from pigeonholing people, but again, this thing seems to be really interested in pigeonholing people. And but again, it's all done to create division, because if we're all divided, then we can be controlled. It is all about a form of control, and it starts young. It starts with the kids, because they want them to be of a certain persuasion. It's crazy stuff. And none of this shit would have floated when I was a lad. Well, even into the 90s and early 2000s, none of this would have floated, and it's only happened in the last 10 years. And you've got to wonder why and where it's come from, and there are many sources to it. But ultimately, they will fail. It will fail. Because biology always wins. And science always wins. And logic always wins. And much of this is based on a logical fallacy. Like the old non-binary. I'm non-binary. What's that? Well, I don't identify with the sex that I was born with. But I can see you're a woman or you're a man. And even if you cut those bits off, I can still identify it. You're going to have to do a very good job of hiding that. And when they dig your bones up, archaeologists dig your bones up, they'll look at the shape of your skull or your pelvis, and they'll go, this was a man or a woman. Or even if they've got some DNA, they'll be able to run a test on it. Because your DNA doesn't declare what it is. It tells you what it is. There's a difference there. And it's all a bit of a lark, isn't it, really? It's all a bit of a lark. It's all a performance. And here we are. And they're getting the arsehole because they're saying kids should only be taught sex education from the age of 9 onwards, which seems to me quite reasonable. But here we are. here we are. I hate it when I agree with the Tories. I hate it, but I'm agreeing with the Tories. Thank you for watching. Oh my God, there are people. I forgot there are people in the chat. I forgot I had the chat open. I was doing old-fashioned coffee time where I just talked to the camera. Ciento says, I like to see your videos. Good. And he said, I'd like to see that video about Triumvirate again. I don't know what that is. And Oz says, identity politics. Payne says, a blanket ban. No blankets for you, indeed. But they'll probably have a blanket with a hole in it. John says, Danny LaRue. A fine example of a man. Was it? Or was my favourite Stanley Baxter? Who remembers Stanley Baxter, who, at the age of something like 92, came out as gay? And I thought, my God, I never knew. Who cares? I don't care. Again, all the people I loved, as a young fellow was gay, from Kenny Everett, to Rock Hudson. They all died. Freddie Mercury, Derek Jarman. Oh God, maybe there's something I should be telling the missus. It's all falling into place now. No, sorry, no, that's not it. But anyway, yeah, it's a funny time we live in. Princey says, morning. Well, it's almost afternoon. 7 minutes, it's be afternoon. Payne says, the adults need to protect children from making permanent mistakes during their uncertain times. That's their job. As I've always said to my kids, I'm not your friend. I'm here to stop you killing yourself. That's all I'm here for. And that's my duty as an adult. And once they're 16, knock yourself out. Do what you want. You see, because in my mind, and this is where I'm a bit old-fashioned, because I remember at 16, that was when we was expected to go off and make our way in the world. But we kind of infantilise young adults now, and again, because they make them stay on till 18. I don't think you can leave school at 16 now unless you've got special proviso or you're really thick. Sorry, thick kids. There might be some thick kids who have accidentally smushed their phone with their face and got this channel, but I doubt it. But sorry, thick kids. Someone's got to be thick, and it was you. Well done. We'll always need thick people, though, because someone's got to run the country. You see what I did there? You see? I mean, where would we be without Joe Biden and Donald Trump, eh? Together, they ain't got 2 brain cells to might start a fire, have they, if they rubbed them together. But yeah, I see 16 is the start of adulthood, but we don't see that now. We infantilise our young into a permanent position of almost vulnerability, and we don't teach them resilience. We don't teach them life is shit. Life is shit, and you're going to get knocked down. And it's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you get up again. That's the thing. You got to keep getting up. You got to keep fighting. And it's all right to feel weak, and it's all right to feel vulnerable, but don't fucking dwell on it, because then you fall down into a well of self-pity, and you never get out of it. You've got to be resilient, and we don't teach people that, because everyone's a victim, because victim culture is very important. It's all part of this cultural identity bullshit. Everyone's a victim. All right. But anyway, you've started me off. He says, you're early. Not really, because in the old days, I used to start at 11. And today I started at 11:30. And sometimes I start half 12, but this isn't that kind of coffee time. This is the old-fashioned coffee time, where I just talk at the camera for a bit about a topic that's caught my eye. Tomorrow, drinking water is the topic, and I'll be talking about the state of our drinking water in the UK. Yeah, this is the stuff. This is the stuff. This is what they want. This is what the people really want. No, it isn't. Whatever it is they want, I ain't giving it them, and I ain't getting it, because I don't know what it is, and they won't tell me what they want. So there we go. Oz says, don't forget to see it in the peanut gallery. And Naz is in. He says, hey mate, hey there. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. I don't know what you call this, blather. And don't forget to tell me how wrong I am in the comments so I can block you, because I just enjoy it. Just thrills me to block all those people that disagree with me, you know. But again, I think a lot of these people who, you know, fall into these ideologies, once they do have kids, everything changes. Everything changes. Everything you think changes. Everything how you feel about things changes. This is the really interesting thing. Again, I'm never. Again, when I was a younger man, again, me and the missus, we weren't. You know, we didn't even think about it. Children. What, us? We can't be doing that. You know, how do we know? And then you hit, like, you know, your 30s, and you go, oh blimey, and the old biological clock starts whirring, and you know. And then you do have a child, and then you go, oh my God, I'm responsible for this small vulnerable thing, and everything changes. And that's the interesting thing. It's the people who have kids and still believe in all this stuff is the interesting thing, because again, they're getting it all wrong. They're getting it all wrong. It's all wrong. Everything they think is wrong. Anyway, thank you for watching my rant. Remember, be who you want to be, live the life you want to live, don't hurt anybody else. You know, that's all you got to remember. You know, Painsing, he's a Christian. It's your basic Christian shit, except I don't need a book to tell me that, because it's in my bloody heart. All right, I don't need a religion, whereas some people do. I don't know if Paine needs a religion, but it's his book, right? You just point to that. Just follow your basic Christianity, you know, and you should be fine, or whatever religion you like. Just do that, but don't be religious. Be irreligious. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Now I've annoyed everyone. I've annoyed everyone today. This is it. I'm in the zone. I'm that irritant. I'm feeling irritating. Thanks for watching. Who knows, there might be another video coming along. I don't know. I haven't got anything planned. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's that. Thanks for watching. Yeah, if you've got any topics you want me to talk about, leave them in the comment box below. You probably won't, though. You probably won't, because you're worried about getting blocked. Good. Paine says golden rule stuff, innit? Exactly. Well, you know, it's simple shit. It's simple shit. You know, but it's the 21st century and we're still getting it wrong. We're still getting it wrong. And those claiming tolerance are the most intolerant. You know, and this is the world we're living in. It's very, very strange. I can't get a grip on it. You know, I just can't get a grip on it, how weird it all is. But anyway, thank you for watching. I just want to tell you, look, if you're feeling the same way, we're all in the same boat. We all feel it's a very strange time, and I've got a theory it's to do with the millennia. It's again, every time there's a millennia, there's a period of great kind of cultural and social instability. It happens every 1,000 years. Look it up. It's a thing, and I think we're going through it now. So we will get through it. We will. I promise. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta.